Good morning, everyone. I'm Julianna Jaffe Leven, and this is Awakening Wednesdays, and I welcome you. I'm sitting a little further back because I wanted you to see my shirt and what it says. It says, just breathe. And I think this morning, that's really, really, really important. It's a tough morning in this country. And there's so many feelings going around. And most of all, there's a tremendous amount of fear. I think fear informed a lot of people in how they voted. And then there's the fear that wants to rise up and respond to how people voted. There's so much invitation to fear. And I thought I'd just talk a little bit this morning, about that, about what do we do right now? What do we do? And there's a couple, I love quotes, so there's a couple that came to mind. One is, where our attention goes, energy flows. It's one of those cute little rhyming ones, but it's so important. And there is so much invitation for our attention to go to fear right now, to catastrophize, to repeat things that we heard that scare us, to kind of rev that up, get our adrenaline going, get more fear going. And if we do that, that's what we're giving our energy to. And what we give our energy to, we are co-creating. And it's so challenging right now because there's so much invitation to that. And so first of all, it feels so important, truly, take a breath. And like I said last week when we were working a little bit with breathing, is breathe out first. A nice, long, slow exhale. And bring another easy breath in. And then another nice, long, slow exhale. And maybe one more. Those nice, long, slow exhales can help us reset our nervous system and help slow it down. One of my professors in graduate school, who I learned so much from, said, in the end, we're all, how did he put it? In the end, we're all just giant electrical circuit boards. And sometimes it's simply a matter of too much charge and not enough discharge. Well, during times like this, we certainly can get overcharged, and our circuitry can get overcharged. And so becoming aware of that and giving ourselves an avenue to discharge some of that intensity, some of that energy is so important. Simply doing that, no thoughts, no words, no nothing, can set us into a different place and make a difference. The other thing that any of you know me, know that I have been talking about for decades, is that in the end, we are always left with the choice between love and fear. Every action, every thought, every behavior, if we look at it, will come down to it was either rooted in love or fear. There's the belief that love is the only thing that's real. Fear occurs when we turn away from love. But we are certainly called to another level of awareness around this, because if we all collapse into the fear, we are feeding our, I don't even know what they're saying, like our worst impulses. That's the word. Thank you. Impulses. And we're going to keep feeding that which we don't want. And then we're going to feel really, really horrible. There is a change here. Whether it's a change we wanted or a change we didn't want, it's here. And as I said last week, we are going to have to find our way through it. And we will. What seems inconceivable, impossible, I can't even imagine. How are we going to do this? How am I going to do this? How are we up for this task? All of those kind of catastrophic thoughts, we're going to. I have a little story I often tell. When I was 10 years old, we had just moved to a new house. Actually, it was just before I turned 10. And I got sick and I wasn't getting better and I wasn't getting better. And so I went for x-rays, and my mother and I were sitting in the kitchen, and the doctor called. And, you know, in those days it was like God called, you know, okay, doctor, yes, doctor. And I looked at her with great fear and I said, what did he say? What did he say? And she said, you have pneumonia. Well, I immediately started to cry because the only pneumonia I had known about was in the movies and people always died. And I said to my mother, what are we going to do? And she looked at me. It was one of her finest moments. She looked at me very calmly and she said, you're going to go upstairs, you're going to put your pajamas on, and you're going to get into bed. And it was like, oh, okay, I can do that. And that's kind of the moment we're in. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? We're going to take a breath. And hopefully we'll choose love for this moment. I heard a beautiful story this week. You know, Quincy Jones, the great music producer and composer, passed away over the weekend. And I heard on a news story that he had done an address at one of the Harvard graduations. And he talked about where he believed his success came from. And he said, every morning I wake up and I'm faced with a choice. Do I choose love or do I choose fear? And I was like, oh my God, Quincy Jones said the same thing. It's because it's universal. So, can we choose love just for the next 60 seconds? Maybe for the next 5 minutes. Bring yourself to what is good and right in your world. Think about the people who you're around, your family, your loved ones. If you have work you love, think of the work you love. If someone you know made it through an illness recently, think of that. Look out at a tree and appreciate it. And I know all of this sounds hokey, but it's really, really real. And then join hands. And I can't say this enough. Join hands with like-hearted, like-spirited people who are also committed to bringing change of a different sort, to bringing more love, more kindness. Yes, less fear, more hope. In the face of today, we can do that. And we really need to do that. So please walk with me and hold my hand, and let's vote for love. Take care, be well, and don't watch the news so much, okay? It'll make you crazy. Bye-bye now.